Los Angeles. Back in New York City, Gonzo is bringing us together and out to you via the magic of satellite radio. Sirius XM out to you. I am so excited to welcome to our show someone who has been working in the biz for ages since she was 6. Okay, she's 6, and she's had an amazing and varied career, and she's taking New York by storm. I get tweets from people going, "Oh my God, it's Pia Zadora," and they're thrilled and delighted. She's appearing at the Metropolitan Room, and so I can't contain myself. It's Pia Zadora. How are you?
I'm fine. I didn't know that pooping qualified as incontinence. I thought it was just peeing.
No, it's both. They're like, anything anyone says, if anything, God forbid anything bad happens to me today, I can always say, "Excuse me, this didn't work out, but you know what? I talked to Pia Zadora today," so I can have that, and I can be giddy over it. I'm so glad you're here, but the enthusiasm for you being back on the boards in New York is so that I'm hearing such amazing things.
Well, I'm having fun, and isn't that the bottom line?
I get. Well, the bottom line is how the tickets are going, but yes, the most important thing is that you're having
because when you have fun, the audience has fun, and we just have a part. I have a cabaret room in Las Vegas. It's called Pia's Place, and I've been doing it now for about 9 months. So I just love to interact with the audience and get to know them and have fun with them and make fun of myself and make fun of them and just, have a party, drink Piatinis.
That sounds fantastic. And how is the New York audience? I mean, is it feel to you as it does via Twitter with people being so giddy over being in New York?
It's fabulous. It's just so exciting, to be in a room with people that are just enjoying and having fun and laughing and crying, and it's just, New York audiences are pretty tough. So it's kind of a compliment when they do like you.
They do, and people, I think, I saw some photos that people posted where they got their picture taken with you, because our buddy Jim Caruso over at Cast Party showed lovely photos of that he took with you, and how did that go? Didn't you perform there as well?
I did. That was fun. I love that place. Birdland. It's so cool. And Jim is, he's adorable. And it's very interesting to see the talent that performs there, because they're Broadway. I started out on Broadway, so this is basically, where I came from. And I love being back here for that reason. This is where it all started.
People might not know that. I mean, you did 2 years in Fiddler on the Roof with none other than the real Tevye, Zero Mostel, as when you were very, very young. And people might not know that you started when you were only 6 doing stuff. So what was when you think back on the time in Fiddler, what was it like working with Zero?
Zero was he kept everyone on their toes, because he just would do anything. He was crazy and wild and kept the spontaneity going. You never would know what to expect from Zero. But he was so funny because I was his only non-Jewish girl playing one of his daughters. So he called me his little shiksa. And every night, when in the Sabbath scene, when he would introduce all his girls, he would say, "This is mine, this is mine, this is mine." And then he'd look at me and say, "And this is mine?" And he also taught me the only 3 Yiddish words he said I would ever need to know to get by in life: Mazel Tov, Oy vey, and Schmuck.
I had always heard that the two you needed were gelt and schmuck, because they said if a guy doesn't have any gelt, he's a schmuck. So that's the way I'd always heard of it. But even so, but I like your. I think you got it from Zero Mostel. I got it from a comedy record I heard when I was a kid. You got it right from Zero.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with your version of it. I had heard that you had done it, but I didn't realize that you started on Broadway with Tallulah Bankhead.
I certainly did.
My God! Please tell us something, Pia Zadora, please.
Oh my God, she was just the most amazing, the most determined. She was, I think, the diva of all time, the #1 diva of the world. And she was a very bright woman, but she had a great sense of humor, and she liked to kid people, and she just did her own. She was her own woman. She told me, "Hey, don't let anybody tell you what to do. Go with your instincts, and you'll be fine." And I did, and eventually I lived through it. Maybe my instincts weren't as good as hers. Well, I'm speaking about Lonely Lady and all that stuff. But, Hairspray was good. John Waters,
Oh,
my
God,
guy. Love him.
yeah, but even stuff like Lonely Lady, people are like, you do know I love that movie, don't you? We just had someone on before when we said you were coming on. They're like, I love the Lonely Lady. It's like, yes, I realize that, and I think it's great that you. And whenever we hear about a performer, like when I hear about Faye Dunaway distancing herself from Mommy Dearest, you're like, you do know that people adore that, and it's not just like it really means a lot to a lot of people. So even if a movie is not. Even if it's not Orson Welles as Citizen Kane, and it's Orson Welles and the Lonely Lady, it's still, people adore it.
Well, I'm not distancing myself, but it did, it wasn't critically successful, and I got a lot of flack for it because it just wasn't really put together in it wasn't Kramer versus Kramer, okay? Let's cut to the chase. And I was Pia Zadora, and, who are they going to blame? And it was Harold Robbins. But I did enjoy doing it. It was the story of a girl who had to score her way to the top, and she went through a great deal, and she won an Oscar. So, hey, you know what? It was all good.
It was definitely, and speaking of winning awards, you won for Butterfly. You won the Golden Globe.
I did.
For that.
I did.
And what was that experience like? 'Cause that's another. I mean, because you work with amazing people. It's really legendary performers like Tallulah, like Sinatra, like
Orson Welles and Stacy Keach.
Yeah.
And I was also
Stacey
nominated
Keach,
for a Grammy for Best Female Rock Singer in 1922. No, in actually 1984, and I lost it to Tina Turner. Like, whoever heard of her after that, right?
I know. She went to Europe, and then that was it. We just heard nothing else. But so, what did you mentioned before about Hairspray? And we're talking to Pia Zadora. I'm so excited, and I've been saying you're Pia's adorable. I'm sure other people say that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lovely thing. But what was it like falling in with the John Waters crowd for Hairspray? I would guess they ate you up with a spoon.
I did a. John interviewed me for American Film when I did Lonely Lady, and he and I hit it off, and I ended up in his book, and he actually wanted me to play Deborah Harry's prom queen daughter, and I was touring at the time, so he said, well, then just do a cameo for me, come for a day or two in between your gigs. So I said, okay, well, what am I going to do so I can prepare? He said, oh, no, just come. So when I got there, he said, okay, you're going to be a hippie. And I said, what's a hippie? John, I'm a sheltered girl from Queens. I don't know from hippies. So he threw me a howl, and I was introduced to Rick Ocasek, got a black wig, and got naked and smoked. And it was actually a really fun thing to do, and it was probably my favorite film role, except for Naked Gun 33 1/3, which I loved doing, too.
Well, that movie's a scream.
Yeah.
But Hairspray, we have such affection for, and there's a great still of you with the really flat hair, reading Howl.
Yep.
It's the best still from that movie. It's very, very, very funny. It's pretty amazing to see you do that. But I would assume that they would appreciate all the stuff you've done that's been really good and the stuff you've done that's been a little dicey and everything in between, and really, because they're not judgy. They love, I think.
I love that word, judgy. That's so cool.
It's better than judgmental.
Yes.
Judgmental is the right word, but judgy sounds better.
I love it. You're absolutely right. They're very accepting if you don't take yourself too seriously and if you keep trying and going on and improving, right?
Definitely, and I think I think that those people who are your fans, feel that way, and they do, because you want someone to who has a good perspective on all that they've done and all that they keep doing. Is it ever annoying where people are like, when I saw someone tweet something, they were like, I went to see her, turned out she was really good. As opposed to, of course she's really good. Is it annoying that you surprise people by how good you are?
I wasn't always really good. So, it's nice. I've worked really hard at it. It's not that I wasn't good. I could always sing and all that stuff, but I never really had the right vehicle. I never really felt like I owned myself, like I could get out there and just be myself and I was doing the right thing. And so now I do. So when people come and go, wow, they're surprised, it's a great feeling because I feel like I've accomplished what I set out to accomplish.
Yeah, and that's... What's better than that? I mean, it's better they're surprised in that way than surprised in the other way. It's better that they're like, oh my God, it was fantastic.
Exactly.
But But when doing that, when you were putting the show together, what is the name? What's the name of this?
It's called Pia Reloaded, which is not a reference to my carrying a gun or to drinking. That would be Pia Loaded again. And it's a lot better than the original title, Pia Zadora is Still Alive. Did you see that thing on the internet? They say I'm dead. They say I'm dead. I'm actually Linda Blair throwing my voice. You don't even know it's me. You're sitting there in LA and you don't even freaking know it's me. You're not sure.
So.
You're not sure.
You were in that Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I believe in Santa. I do. Okay, I believe in Pia Zadora.
There you go. I like your attitude.
When you put the show together, what kinds of stuff did you decide to do?
Well, I'm doing a lot of Broadway, which is where I came from. I'm doing some standards because I made Pia and Phil, and Sinatra was my mentor. And the standards, I traveled with him and toured with him for a couple of years, and I'm doing some rock.
We can't just gloss over touring with Sinatra. What the heck was that like?
Well, he's pretty tough taskmaster. Every night before I go on stage, he'd call me over, take my hands in his, look me straight in the eye, give me a 3-word pep talk. Don't screw up. And actually, he didn't use the word screw.
He used the RuPaul version of it, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I love RuPaul.
But if anyone is going to tell you that, I would assume, that Sinatra is the person that you might shake in your boots, but that's really who you'd rather hear.
Yes.
It's like when you said about losing the Grammy to Tina Turner.
Exactly.
If you're going to lose it to somebody, that would be a good person.
And he had very high standards for anyone appearing with him, and as well he should have. And, to do it and to be with him for 2 years, I guess I didn't screw up.
No, I would think not. We're talking to Pia Zadora. She is at the Metropolitan Room in New York City this week, and the town is abuzz over it. So how is Vegas now?
Oh, it's great. It's great.
But how is it compared to what it was like when you were opening for Sinatra?
Oh, completely different. Completely. First of all, I live there now. I married a detective, a Las Vegas detective.
I love that. And how's that going?
It's going great. We've been married for 12 years. You know how we met?
No.
I had a stalker, and my case came across his desk. We spoke on the phone, and we met, and 2 weeks later we were engaged.
Oh, and 12 years later.
12 years later.
Still
and
together.
he's so cool. I mean, he's not Vegas-y at all. He's this big Cornhusker from Nebraska, and he has a very strong feminine side. He looks like Alec Baldwin, and he's my soulmate. You know what the best part is? He's my own age. I had no idea that was legal. Really?
It's good you tried something new. That's
exactly.
Great.
Exactly.
Try.
Yep. And you know what?
Dating in your own age group is nice. Yeah.
No. And you know what he does? It's very interesting being married to a cop because he brings his work home with him. Like if I act out at home, he'll put me under house arrest, handcuffs and everything. Trust me, when you're married to a law enforcement guy, no need to read 50 Shades of Grey.
Good for you. I love hearing this.
Yeah.
You deserve this.
I'm having fun. I am.
Of all we've talked about amazing people that you've worked with and stuff. Who, other than the ones we've mentioned, who have you met and worked with or been alongside that just completely floated your boat and you just couldn't believe you were getting to work with an amazing talent like fill in the blank?
There were so many. I would have to say Tallulah was my first strongest. But, I loved working with Jermaine Jackson. We had the #1 duo of the year, and we became like brother and sister. We traveled all over the world together. And they're just, John, I think I love him. And Divine. Divine was exactly, Divine. I remember it was so hot in Baltimore, and when we were doing Hairspray, I was just there for 2 days, but he would sit in this huge armchair in the middle of the street in Baltimore with like 5 nubile slaves fanning him. Or her.
As it should be. As it should be for Divine. Yeah.
As it should be. I miss Divine. I really do.
Yeah, I met him a number of times, and I was just what a sweetheart, and the thing that makes me the saddest is he got to be such a genuinely good actor near the end, and he was having that breakthrough moment when he breathed.
I
his last.
know.
But the work lives on, and that's the important
I
thing. and you can
know, but
always
he never got to
love our
really
divvy.
finish up. He never got to finish up.
But I mean, and you must feel this way too. I mean, you've got a body of work, and some stuff it is what it is, but it's like it's there and it's formidable, and people are like, I love that, and to have that bit of immortality has to, I would assume, has to feel good. Whatever flavor of immortality it is, as long as it's a positive thing, as yours is.
Yeah, it's very
it's
interesting.
Kind of a nice thing.
We have a clip in the show that shows a little bit from Hairspray, a little bit from Lonely Lady, a little bit from some of my other stuff, Carson and Letterman, and I look at it and I'm like, wow, I can't even relate to that because it just seems like such a blur. But it's part of my fabric, I guess. It's part of why people come to see me. And it's part of who I am. And sometimes they say, wow, you're a ballsy little chick. And I'm like, oh, pat myself on the back. It's all good. And sometimes they say, you should have stayed home. Should have been sick that day.
They're not saying that at the Metropolitan Room, I'm sure. From all that I've been reading, they're all very, very excited about that. Do you have kids, right?
I do. I have 3.
Would you want them to go into showbiz, or
No,
did they?
my daughter is. Katie Z is her name. She's a singer. She has some great stuff. She's recorded. You can Google her. And my son, my older son, who is 26, is going to be a lawyer. And he's studying law at Pepperdine. He also has a master's in business. And my baby is 17, and he has some special needs, which is why I had to take off for a while to take care of him, but he's absolutely fine now. And so, I just live for my kids, basically. And the older they get, the more problems, the bigger the problems. The bigger the kid, the bigger the problems. But it's fun. It's, part of my fabric, I guess.
What does it feel like being in New York? Is there stuff you were just itching to do when you got to town?
No, I'm enveloped in the whole vibe and the memories and, looking up Fifth Avenue and saying, oh, that's where I lived for 8 years. That's where I lived for 11 years. Hoboken, looking over Hoboken in the airplane in Queens and the subway. And there's such a great vibe. Even when it stinks good.
Yeah, and in August it stinks, having lived there for 25 years. Yeah,
there's so much garbage.
Fragrance.
So much garbage on the street. Ah. But I'm
it's
a germaphobe, so yeah.
Oh my God! But you're from there originally, so
I lived in the city for a couple of years, but It's different. It's bigger. There are more people. There's more garbage. In a good way.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In a good. Yeah. There's more garbage in a good way. That's what I'm taking away from all of this.
Okay.
I'm so tickled that you came to see us, Pia Zadora. Thank you so much. I'll put the link up to the Metropolitan Room website so people can get tickets. And tonight it's at 7:00. So people can come and see you. And it's such an intimate, wonderful venue.
Oh, it's such a cool, cozy room. Oh, I love it.
And thanks, and I hope we get to meet in person. Would
well,
really
if you
like
get
that
to
a lot.
Vegas, I'll buy you a Piatini at Pia's Place.
Okay. I'm going to Pia's Place. Is there a website for Pia's Place? I'll find that and put it up on there as well.
It's at a place called Piero's. Piero's Italian Cuisine. It's the monkey bar part of it. I guess it's on my website, but I can try to just check it out. Google Pia Piero's.
We'll do that. And your website, I assume it's piazadora.com?
Yes.
All right, great. Well, we'll go there as well, but I'll put the link to the Metropolitan Room so people can just get tickets in an easy way and come and see you. Thanks for coming to see us, and have fun while you're at Sirius.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. When we return, more fun here on Sirius XM OutQ.